Now let's look into how we can read faster and better. To read better and faster, you must be proactive. By that I mean you've got to look ahead. You've got to take action in anticipation. You've got to adapt. And you want to adapt and control. You control your time. You control the place. You control the atmosphere where you're reading. You're not going to be in the same place when you're reading a chemistry text as when you're reading a novel or when you're reading casually. So control everything you can about your reading environment. Now you'll want to preview the material before you begin reading it. Much of your reading efficiency is based on the ability to predict where the material is headed. When previewing, you want to initially look at several elements that are common to almost all textbooks. Chapter titles, outlines, summaries, headings and subheadings. Look at pictures and graphs, tables, and any questions that are included at the end of a particular chapter. Again, we're going to come back to that word control. You want to take control of your reading environment. You also want to control how you read it. So divide the chapters into manageable groupings. You're going to want to read faster, and we'll get to that in a minute. You're going to highlight important information as you go along. And using recitation to reinforce what you've just read is a very powerful tool. Hearing what you've read and saying it incorporates more of the senses. Now physically, we all have a capacity for reading much faster than we typically do. And what limits us are obstacles that get in the way. Obstacles like regressions. This is where you're back skipping, going over the words again and again, looking back over what you've read previously rather than moving ahead at a steady pace. There can be bad habits. They can be motor habits, moving, twitching, even shuffling your feet. That slows you down because it's taking energy and attention away from the reading. And auditory is a terrible bad habit to have. That's the people you'll see, they're almost reading aloud. And in some cases they may be moving their lips. We have to eliminate that. And fixations. Fixations are where you actually read. This is where you actually stop or pause between eye spans when the eye is moving to its next fixation point. Fixation points are where you read. And so what we want to do is increase the speed between fixations, and you want to be able to fixate better than just word by word. You want to fixate or read groupings of words. Okay, so how are we going to eliminate the obstacles? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to increase eye span. Eye span is the number of words that you take in as you look at the words, as you perform a fixation. And we'll increase thought units by using the words in context. We'll group the words according to the context. And then we're going to increase the number of words we see and increase our efficiency by working on return eye sweep. When you get to the end of a sentence or end of the line on a written page, your eye kind of meanders back to the other side. You have a chance to pick up stray words. Well, we're going to use pointers. As you read faster, you'll learn to rely on your increased recognition of how words are configured, because configuration is a phenomena that helps us read and interpret and understand words by deciphering the stimuli we encounter as we're reading. It's kind of an inherent capacity. Check this example of configuration out. Despite the fact that none of these words are spelled right, you can understand what it's saying. So now we're going to move on and show you specific techniques for actually reading faster.